Well, hello, everybody. It is great to be here, and we're actually very, very excited about being partner country. I'm sure that you heard before me our ambassador, who explained very, very, very well, the relationship and the interactions that Portugal has with Germany, and so the benefits, the mutual benefits of this partnership. I think that's already very, very clear. So I'd like to focus on what are the competitive advantages that being partner country will be relevant for German companies. And what I'll describe to you is actually very, very simple. I hope it will be an eye-opener for many, many, many of you. But let me tell you in advance, a lot of very, very large German and very, very competitive German companies already know this. And a lot of them, and I'd say even the majority of them, is already operating, investing, sourcing, partnering, co-creating, developing, you name it, already through Portugal. So I'll show you what are the advantages of innovating in Portugal. The idea is basically, you need to look at Portugal as a country that is open to the world and where basically our engineering talent can connect the dots. Let me show you what our industrial expertise and know-how represents in macroeconomic terms. Just to give you an idea, and most people don't realize this, metalworks, machinery, tooling, and transport or automotive equipment represent more than 30% of Portuguese exports of goods. Actually, I know that many of you imagine that our top 3 exports are olive oil, wine, sun, and it's true. We do have great wine, great olive oil, and a fantastic touristic offering. But the 3 main exports of goods are motor vehicles, other transport equipment, machinery, appliances, electric equipment, and also common metals and metal products. This is basically the cornerstone and the basis, the backbone of our exports. This is Portugal in the 21st century. Now, why is this? How can we do this? Because people don't usually associate this to Portugal. Well, the reason is very, very simple. We have an absolutely distinctive key asset, talent. Let me give you 3 data points on Portuguese talent. We have the 3rd highest rate of engineering graduates in Europe. Did you know that? Almost 30% of our graduates graduate from ICT, engineering, maths, and natural sciences. So this gives you a notion of the technical abilities that our talent has. So this gives you a notion of how competitive it can be. But for companies expanding and companies that have global operations, just like the German companies that operate around the world and export around the world, you also need people that can interact in a multicultural environment. And Portugal and Portuguese youngsters are particularly competitive in that. Most of them will speak at least 2 foreign languages. And this, just let me give you another data point. Our proficiency level in English. We rank number 7 around the world. So if you take all of this into account, you basically see that our talent overall, especially our engineering talent, is not only competitive technically, but it is also competitive for a multinational company or a company that has several operations around the world, because the talent that it is recruiting and using through its operations in Portugal will enable them to deal with different teams around the world, will enable them to deal with different settings, and this will obviously increase your productivity. This is what we are offering, our key asset, talent. So to prove that, I actually brought 2 small examples today. I'll focus on this one. This is basically an additive manufacturing disruptive technology, a machine produced by a Portuguese company called Adira. And they actually, a few years ago, about 3 years ago, 4 years ago, they developed the largest 3D printer in the world. Now, obviously, as you can imagine, and having here an audience of industrial specialists, you all understand the value of this technology. But you also all understand the challenge here at stake. And my point is, this was actually a result of great Portuguese engineering, great Portuguese research and development. But, and here's the twist that I think is also interesting, it's also the result of a great partnership with Fraunhofer Institute. So this shows that joining forces, joining efforts, and having great talent allows us to actually have great results together. This is just a small example out of dozens, not to say hundreds, of examples that we have of great partnerships and great co-creation opportunities that were developed. Great new products, many of them even ranging from the software to certain industrial sectors to certain automotive segments, that are the pure result of the co-creation of a German company or a German research institute and a Portuguese company or a Portuguese university. This is the kind of result that we can achieve together with this type of talent. But I know that in 2022, all of us have also a relevant concern regarding sustainability. And this is something that is extremely important for Portugal. Obviously, this has even become more important in our current days where, you know, our energetic independence is also under analysis. And here, let me talk to you what Portugal has done in the past 15 to 20 years. Portugal has bet immensely in green energy and in the energy transition. Just to give you an idea, 60% of the electrical consumption in 2021 in Portugal was produced through renewable resources. In 2020, Portugal was the 5th country in the European Union with the largest share of energy from renewable sources. And in 2021, so just last year, at the end of the year, we also stopped our production of electricity using coal. So basically, all of our electrical output nowadays is coal-free. So this shows how committed we are to being a green location and to have a sustainable production. And we know this is important for you because it's extremely important for your customers, whether it is at the B2B level, but also at B2C level. Europeans, Germans, Portuguese, all of us are extremely concerned about sustainability. So if you are betting in partnering up, in sourcing, or in investing in Portugal, you will be able to see that we have sustainable solutions and a sustainable environment, and above all, are extremely committed with that. Let me show you also what we've done in terms of innovation. Portugal implemented the first ever floating solar project at an existing hydroelectric facility. Furthermore, Portugal also developed the first offshore floating wind farm in continental Europe, the WindFloat Atlantic project. So this shows you that not only we are committed, but that also means that we are innovating and pushing forward this agenda, even technologically. This is how far our commitment goes. And finally, and I think this is an interesting data point, just to give you an idea, in 2020, Portugal lived electrically more than 111 hours just using renewable power. So all of this investment is now paying off. This is something that we're keeping up, but above all, we are also keeping up and fostering innovation in the renewable sector. And to show you, just again, a small example out of hundreds that we have in Portugal, take a look at this HEVO Fusion Fuel solution, which is a small PEM electrolyzer, basically a small green hydrogen solution. And the point here is, again, Portuguese engineering, Portuguese technology, all developed out of Portugal, that enabled this company to basically design the smaller, efficient, and user-friendly system to produce electrolyzer, to produce hydrogen in a small scale, using, again, just renewable power. In this case, specifically, solar power. And this small innovation will enable people, will enable small industries to basically, in a location with a relevant and high solar irradiation level, produce about 1 ton of green hydrogen per year, locally, sustainably, and using renewable power. Again, this is just an example of innovation, how you can innovate in Portugal. And if you understand this, you basically understand something about the competitive sweet spot of Portugal. As I mentioned to you, our key asset is talent. So if you are able to develop projects that value, that develop, that foster our technical, our engineering capabilities, you'll see that this is extremely competitive for your company, and this will allow you even to expand further and, above all, to innovate further. As I was telling right at the beginning, many large and leading German companies already know this. So you'll see that all the household names, German companies already operate and develop products and produce out of Portugal. But this time, we really want the Mittelstand, all those great hidden champions that you have here in Germany, to know this and to understand that if they want to go further in a competitive manner, they have Portugal as an option. That's why Portugal makes sense. I'm looking forward to seeing you here in Hanover in late May, early June. Thank you very much.